Hello, everyone. Non-existent audience, welcome to an open chat. You got me, and you have Chairman over here. Happy to see everyone. And we were just kind of discussing a few short things. First of all, for those who didn't see the last two lives where it made itself a main topic, just because I'm still in shock, we know the JRC is suing the FDA, and the reason why, and I do have the complaint, that took a little bit of digging, but the complaint is because they're going back to amend their very obvious mistake in their final rule of 2020. And the JRC just can't have that. So, and their absolute entitlement, they've decided that they're going to sue a leg of the federal government.
Um, yeah.
It's completely insane. Like, how in the name of God does anyone think that that's going to go well? Because literally, it's like the JRC is trying to punish them. They're forgetting who they are in comparison with the freaking feds. Ah, Merrick. Good to see you, Merrick. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I actually cleaned my camera. That's probably why it looks a little bit. Yes, Merrick. Yes. I actually have the complaint right here. The JRC, when they caught wind of the fact that the FDA were finally, after near 4 years, was going back to amend their final rule so that they could reissue the ban, the JRC decided they were going to sue the FDA. You can't make this level of stupid up. I mean, this is legitimately a thing. Let me do a quick screen share. We're not going to go over it in its entirety because I do want to do a series just on this alone, but to just show you that this currently exists. Let me share screen here. All right, hold on a second. Wow, I got a lot of tabs up. Sorry about that, folks. I know I got a lot of tabs. It's Federal Register. There we are. Right here, folks. Massachusetts facility using one-spark shock devices sues FDA. This started at the beginning of this year. Look at that. That was just the 11th of January. And yeah, this is a thing. Complaint attached. I'm going to go ahead and put the link here in the chat for you all. But yeah, this is a thing. This is happening. Yeah, this is like fresh right off the presses. Right off the presses. This is like just almost mid to last month. Yeah. So this is new. This is very new. And the only reason that I was able to actually catch wind of it is because, what can I say? I got my hands in many pies trying to fight the crap that us disabled people deal with on a daily basis, which gives me some resources into information that's not more well known out there. And this got DM to me from one of the people who have been a part of fighting the JRC even longer than I have. We're talking one of the OGs that sent forth that information. So, yeah, this is a thing. They are actually put forward a complaint, have actually filed within the last 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a little bit more, this complaint to go against the FDA. Yeah, I'm still in shock. I'm in I'm in shock that this will probably be another third major topic of open chat because I'd expect a lot out of the JRC. These are some of the most despicable, dirtiest, most corrupt, greedy, evil bastards I've ever had the displeasure to come up against. But I didn't realize that their pride had grown so large that they had the balls to decide that they were going to take on a leg of the federal government and think that this was going to be a good idea. The whole concept in regards to the federal government when they let you have mulligan after mulligan is to not provoke the same government. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. The JRC has gotten away with so much blood on their hands. 6 deaths. The live surveillance footage of what Andre McCollins went through. The DESI reports, the ER documents, and they've gotten away with it every single time. So they began to think that, I don't know, maybe they think they're above everything and everyone. It takes an enormous amount of equal amounts of pride and stupidity to think that this was a good idea. Just me. You know, I don't know. So I've got my eyes on that. Obviously, a lot of other people do too. We're watching it extremely closely because this might finally be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It might finally be a way to take those bastards down and force the feds to investigate properly. That's hopeful thinking. I'm aware of this. But hope springs eternal, yes, even for some of us nihilists out here. Oh, and to get into the Super Bowl, I was talking to Chairman before that. Yes, I rooted for the Chiefs. I live in Missouri. You you are born into the franchise, whether you like it or not. You're basically issued your Chiefs fandom spot upon birth. My brother, on the other hand, is a raving Ravens fan. So to watch his team and my team go at it for the championship, for the right to go to the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs won. Not just that, but then they go and win the Super Bowl. I'm going to annoy him all year. All year at every given human opportunity because I'm a little sister. It's our job and our sacred duty to annoy the hell out of our older siblings. And I take it seriously. But yeah, but a lot of crazy shit has come out since the Super Bowl. I need you all to help me wrap my brain around this brand new conspiracy coming out of the GOP. So hear me out. They believe that the relationship between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce is fake and that the Super Bowl was rigged for the Chiefs to win for Biden to be elected again as president. This is a legit conspiracy theory that is circling everywhere out here. Remember, Missouri, it's a GOP hellscape. And there are people who are believing this insanity.
I have no words for that.
Right? Merrick, you are all of us right now. You are all of us because, like, I saw this pop up as soon as the Chiefs won because my oldest brother, Joe, which is to be expected, he is more of a rabid fan of the Chiefs than I am, was going off and just out of left field. I like I just had to sit down and have absolute quiet because I can't wrap my brain around how they're making the logic work on this one. And I mean, I knew about freaking GOPers being pissed about Taylor being at football games doing what every other girlfriend of an NFL player is doing. But then it seems like way out of left field. Here's a conspiracy that makes no coherent sense. Like, first of all, how is the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl in any way, shape, or form related to the presidential race? Because I need somebody to explain this to me like I'm 5. Or maybe even explain it to me like I'm a toddler. But Taylor was for the Democrats for the last election. She has said literally jack shit about the current presidential run. Nothing. Nothing remotely political whatsoever. None. She showed up to a few handful of football games. That's it. Like, oh no, Chairman, you kind of look as puzzled as I do. Does this make any coherent sense?
No. And Joe running again for president. That he'll probably be dead in the next couple of years just because of his age.
No, that Joe is running because there's no one else in his party that anybody is going to take seriously. Okay?
No, nobody takes him seriously.
But they take him a lot more seriously than a youngin coming up out of nowhere.
Hmm.
He's well known and he's had his power base for longer than I've been alive.
Hmm.
And then we've got Orange Cheeto, who I don't hate him for the same reasons as everyone else does. He signed off on the Act Now for Autism Act. If you read through that act, it's eugenics. I know, I deep dived. I usually do. His policies in regards to disabled people is absolutely abysmal. And that's being polite. It's absolute shit. Absolute garbage. In fact, the idea of forcing individuals to work. Yes, we're not talking about people like me. We're talking about people with literal physical disabilities that have thus far kept them from the workforce for very obvious reasons. Oh, but with COVID, it proves they can work from home. Yeah, I got a lot of bones to pick. Got a lot of bones to pick with that man. But you notice it's not the sensationalized reasons why everybody he did this against women. Technically Congress, technically the Supreme Court. The president cannot rule in regards to basically he can't take away from the Supreme Court their executive function. They made the decision.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be that horrible person that has to throw logic in, but I hate Trump with my whole soul for very obvious reasons that I don't understand. The popularity of hate has literally become a lampoon of itself at this point. I'm not a fan of the giant Cheeto in a wig in any capacity. Quite frankly, I don't think he should even be in charge of his own damn business, considering I know for a fact from people who were actually around the guy, because I have people, family, New York, that he was bankrupt on multiple occasions, his own companies. But yeah, but now we've got either you worship, and I've seen the images where they either worship him and put him literally on the same level as Jesus. And I wish to God I was kidding on that. But that is apparently a thing. People are doing paintings drawing his ass up on a cross. I shit you not. The blasphemy has just been through the roof. And then you've got the others with, like, there's rational reasons to hate the man, but these people, some of them can't even tell you why. They couldn't sit you down like I just did and explain by policy why they despise the person. They're just going along with what everybody else says. But yeah, we've got these people who legitimately believe that for some reason that makes no sense to anyone, the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, for whatever bizarre reason that I don't understand, they think it's some weird deep op from the freaking CIA, and it was all done to reelect Biden. And the final nail in the coffin was somehow the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl again. I mean, call me naive, but I was certain that Patrick Mahomes had something to do with it. As somebody who's been obsessively watching football since I was 15 years old. You know, call me crazy, but I figured it was the talent on the team that won the ball game, not some bizarre CIA op for that is trying to somehow link presidential elections to Super Bowls. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, my whole brain seizes up and stops. Oh, Merrick, that it was called Act Now for Autism. It's actually been a particular act that has been renewed multiple times starting and beginning late 90s, early 2000s. It throws thousands of dollars at places like Autism Speaks and all these other little small outlets that come from Autism Speaks to cure autism. All that research, money into research, money the families never see. I know that because years ago, When the chip on my shoulder was a lot larger than it is now, I did the deep dive. None of that, all that money is earmarked for quote unquote the ever elusive research. They throw the families in your face. They show our most personal, vulnerable moments when we are in meltdown on camera. All that money, supposedly based off of all that pain and how much they need help, not a single red dime goes to them. Not one. It is all thrown in the catch-all that is called research. The research that is, but we got to cure everyone, and where the majority of the bulk of the money has been going into, in particular, is trying to be able to determine, basically like they did with Down syndrome. Essentially, what it is being able to diagnose autism in the womb. Now, folks, if you know how things go with us, this is not me being cynical, this is being as real as it gets. If it ever becomes a thing where our autistic and otherwise neurodivergent asses are able to be diagnosed from the womb, from what we know of history and what happened with kids like my nephew, should that ever become a thing, can you guess what's going to happen? Yeah. Yeah. We all know what's going to happen. We know because it's already happened previously. And the media, both left and right, have been using scare tactics in regards to, in particular, ADHD and autism since late 1990s. So that Autism Now Act is throwing billions of dollars into the coffers to the likes of places like Autism Speaks to be thrown into this research. I wanted you to know where that money was going and where it wasn't going. For all the ads that they do, and Autism Speaks, love them or hate them, and I would like to see them die in a fire, are by far the most well known in regards to us autistics. It is what it is. I hate it. I despise it with my whole soul. But that's how it is. You would think, with all the billions of dollars they get from the feds and private donors all these years, that you would hear about families being able to get access to services that they couldn't previously because autism treatment is expensive as hell. But you don't hear that. You don't hear families coming forward talking about how, because of Autism Speaks, they were allowed to keep their homes while still getting their kid treatment. Because it's all going towards research. And the Act Now for Autism Act that I was mentioning, and there's a lot more politicians on both sides that I want to have conversations with regarding that bill. But basically, it gives them access to unlimited amounts of money, folks. And it is not for any of our benefits. They don't care about us. They don't care about our families. They never did. So yeah, but to concoct this insanity that is now coming out of some of the more unhinged side of the GOP to somehow conflate a public relationship and a Super Bowl win to some insane conspiracy has short circuited my brain. I was in the middle of my day, like 2 days ago, when this first was made known to me, and this came across. Ah, Merrick, for a first world nation and greatest place in woke America, your government sounds exactly like mine, which is low key, second to third world country. A lot of corruption and alas, ableism. Always has been, Merrick. The image of
Yep.
America that has been sold to the world is exactly that. It's an image, nothing more. The fact of the matter is, it's the same as it always has been throughout history. The have me's control the rest of us. Anybody who tells you anything different is trying to sell you something. I have wheeled and dealed with these folks in person, face to face, for too long. The only time they get anything that is actually beneficial done is when you have leverage to be able to shove in their face at that particularly vulnerable time, which is election time. At the end of the day, it's the people with the biggest pockets that control things. Always has been. Yeah, I know that makes me cynical, whatever. But I mean, America is not what has been sold to the rest of the world. We're not. I wish we were. But here's the thing, America likes its distraction tactics. This whole woke thing serves a purpose, or it wouldn't be shoved in our face the way that it is. It acts as a very good camouflage to keep your eyes from what's actually going on. If you got GOP and liberals at each other's throats, they're going to be so distracted by their animosity and opposing viewpoints and religious points from each other that they're not going to see the man behind the curtain. Just my opinion. I know people, but woke. Some of it is legitimate, some of it's ridiculous. But at the end of the day, when you see these people arguing these points at each other's throats, when we've literally got two different full-scale wars going on, but they want to sit there and argue whether D&D is satanic, way to bring back the 80s out of nowhere, by the way, or they want to argue with whether or not Taylor Swift is satanic or it's some giant conspiracy. If you're wound up in that, you're not going to be paying attention about the decisions being made in regards to those wars or the smaller policies. I call them small even though they're not to me, in regards to the disabled of us. You know, it's, well, let's face it, the news hasn't been the news for a long time. It's entertainment. It is repeating back appropriate phrases and points of views to make an individual at home more comfortable with you. Nobody reports just straight facts anymore. That was on its very last legs when I was like in middle school. So the whole woke, not woke, all this counterculture crap that is shoved down our throats on a daily basis, you should wonder why. From either side. Pro woke, not woke. Why is this being shoved down our throats? What is it that they don't want you paying attention to? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I work from home and I spend a lot of time by myself, but I don't know. To me, why would you push that? And both sides are pushing it. If there's not something else that you don't want me looking at. I don't know, Chairman. What do you think on that?
Oh God, it's this. I'm speechless.
I mean, am I crazy or does that make sense that they're shoving all this crap and forcing this fight in the forefront because it's distracting everyone from everything else?
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe because I don't get up in my feelings. And now they're going to use Taylor Swift and poor fucking Travis Kelce. Excuse me for cursing. And they're going to use their relationship that they never asked to go public or to have all these cameras follow every single move that they make. And then they're going to throw Joe Biden in and swear it's a conspiracy when you've got literal wars going on. Make it make sense. There doesn't need to be conspiracy theories to see where all of this is going. While all that arguing about woke, not woke is going on, more billions of dollars are being sent into two different places. You know, and behind the scenes, while people are arguing woke versus not woke, you have Democrats and Republicans arguing over what money should go where. And I'm sorry, folks, you need to pay attention. I know it's boring, but you need to be paying attention to where that money is going. Because those issues, like I'm talking about, the Act Now for Autism, the abortion pro not abortion, all those things that actually affect the daily lives of us peons here. That's why we need to be paying attention to where the money is going and less attention about this argument that either side is never going to win. Whether somebody thinks my opinion on some obscure thing like what they think they are does not affect my day-to-day life. Or nor does it really affect anyone else's. And in fact, I've never understood why that became this major polarizing event. To me, you refer to a person as they wish and have expressly told you to refer to them. It's not that complicated. What's more complicated is we've got a country that's billions of dollars in debt.
Uh, trillions of dollars in debt.
Trillions.
Trillions. Yeah.
We have places around the world that climate change has affected to the point that landscapes are beginning to change. Places that we used to get vegetation and our food from are disappearing.
Mhm.
Just thinking that the things that actually affect our day to day are a lot more important than what's everybody at each other's throats. Maybe it's because I've always been extremely practical. I don't care so much about what other people think on any given topic, really, as much as I want to be sure that I'm going to get the resources necessary to continue to feed this household. That I'm going to able to retain my job and housing, be able to continue through my insurance to take care of my mental health as well as my physical health. All of these are infinitely more important over what's woke and what's not. Now, I know there's probably people angry with me because I know in those whole arguments there are some layers there. I understand that. But also understand that people will use legitimate anger against you to get you at the throat at someone else so they can continue to do whatever the hell they want without any pushback, if that makes sense. And these people have been so caught up in the culture war that they are now creating these absolutely nonsensical conspiracy theories to the detriment of the poor folks that are the subject of them. No, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. Everybody knows I'm a metalhead. I have been since I was 10 years old. But to literally, out of this whole argument, spawn a conspiracy theory that puts her front and center, literally telling her she's a CIA op and telling her she's literally satanic for going to a handful of football games and hugging her boyfriend. Or poor Travis Kelce, who just wants to play a football game. He's wonderful that he won a Super Bowl. And now somehow he's a part of a subject of a conspiracy that nobody can explain to me whatsoever how either of these two individuals, the NFL or the Super Bowl, has anything to do with the current election. This is where we are now. We are definitely not paying attention to the things that we should and giving way too much weight to things that we shouldn't. I guess that's what I was trying to say in all that ranting. Look, there's bigger things going on. Does that make sense to you, Chairman? There's bigger things going on right now than what we're constantly arguing.
Yeah.
Now, I like to call myself old, but there were times when I was younger where we were able to put the crap that had us at each other's throats aside long enough when it was necessary. The biggest example was after 9/11. Because if you don't think the day Monday those people weren't at each other's throats, I have very vivid memories, folks. They were. But after that, realizing something much larger was going on, what happened? People dropped the petty bullshit, didn't they? They dropped all the nonsense, all the crap that is used to constantly divide us for somebody else's benefit and wallet. All of it was dropped. And we haven't seen anything like it since. I saw it after the Oklahoma City bombing. And yes, even after Waco, I remember Waco. I was little, but I remember Waco.
So do I.
Granted, conspiracy theories came later, but I'm talking immediately after these events. Now we've had two major world events take place: the invasion of Ukraine and the absolute abysmal massacre going on in Gaza. And I'm sorry, I'm going to call it what it is. I do not call the October 7th attack justifiable. Do not get me wrong on this. It is not. Nor is the response to bomb an area the size of Detroit back into the Stone Age. The response is not proportional. It's overkill. But people are more going to sit there and argue about this woke crap, whether you're one side or another, than the fact that we just had two major world events take place in front of our eyes. Anyways, let's lighten the mood. I'm sorry I went dark there for a little bit. So, gloating aside, the Chiefs won. And folks, as usual, for some reason, we're not near Kansas City, right? Kansas City is about 3 hours and 30 minutes down that way, I think. Yeah, that way. But it doesn't matter because we are the third, Springfield's the third largest city in Missouri. And I don't care if I dox myself. I really don't. Never did. But every time since 2019, when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl after 60 years, this city loses its complete and utter mind. To give you an idea of what it's like here, once again, we had so many fireworks going off that it could actually be witnessed by NORAD. The heat and the light combined, the force of all the fireworks and everyone losing their minds, literally was able to be seen from NORAD. It's completely nuts, which is not so great when like you're trying to go to bed at about around 7 because you have a whole army of Karens you know you're going to have to face on the phones the following day. Yeah. And my poor kitty here, he got very, very sensitive ears. And a lot of people don't, whatever, call me whatever you want. I don't care. But if you're like firing off fireworks in the middle of the night, it's not good for the pets. And it scares the living daylights out of them. And if you're an adopter, and I'm an adopter, and the pets come out of very traumatic backgrounds, and then you are basically lighting up the sky like it's the 4th of July. Yeah, I got a little bit of a bitch. But yeah, my little city here lost its gourd, which is how I knew the Chiefs won because I wasn't actually watching the game. I was detoxing after a very, very long and hard day of dealing with some of the like most brain dead individuals you can come across on a phone. And all I wanted to do was just to watch one of my documentaries because I'm a documentary junkie and drink my valerian night tea to knock myself out so I could deal with all the crap again another day. And there goes the fireworks. And you can hear from the back room Paul going, "Well, the Chiefs won." Because he wasn't watching the game either. It's just literally how we knew the Chiefs won was the fireworks started going off.
Hmm. I'm surprised that people had fireworks because isn't that illegal to shoot after July?
Depends on the state. Missouri has always had weird clauses. Like if our baseball team wins, everybody loses their damn minds. At least when we still had the St. Louis Cardinals. If the Chiefs win anything, they lose their damn minds collectively as an entire city. Don't get me wrong, I am thrilled that they won. Like, don't get it twisted. I'm going to be bragging about this all year at every given opportunity and just rubbing my brother's face in it all year because he was obnoxious during Christmas. Ravens, Ravens, Ravens. Yeah, we won. So it's my duty as a little sister to rub it in his face every given opportunity that I have. But there was massive celebrations all over the city. People are already they're buying up the merch like it's Black Friday all over again.
Hmm.
Like, do you have a Chiefs theme recliner? It's Wayfair. But don't you have one? Go to a sports shop. That's been fun. A lot of dealing with a lot of that. And a lot of people who want to return things that they got specifically for the Super Bowl. But they don't want you to know that. But when you've got multiple people doing it, you know that they only got it for the game. But I shouldn't have to pay for a return. Like, brother, I don't know about the rest of the agents, but I tell you the return policy at the end of every single call without fail. If it's not damaged, you cover the shipping. But
That's the policy.
Karen's got a Karen, I guess. All right, now to really trigger some people. Personally, and I don't go digging into celebrity lives because, quite frankly, I think they deserve their damn privacy and that people should not be so damn entitled to think that they deserve to know every single aspect of their lives. But from what little I've seen, the whole Kelsey and Taylor thing has actually been very cute to see. They're like any young couple. Just their wallets are a lot more padded than yours or mine.
Yeah, no kidding.
But other than that, they're just an adorable young couple to me. Good for them, you know?
Yeah.
People got to make everything weird. And one of the things that did piss me off is you got a bunch of real assholes. Taylor has ruined the NFL for me. I am so tired of her. Bro, she went to a football game. That's all she did. She's not even out on the football field singing. She's literally in a little box watching the game.
Yeah.
And she ruined the game for you. But I'm supposed to believe that you're an alpha male, right? But a
Jesus
pretty little
Christ.
girl with her red lipstick has hurt you so badly by her mere presence. You know?
Yeah. Like, where's that guy's manhood?
And
Nowhere.
they're like, but we see nothing but her all the time, and it's just ruined the NFL. Then blame the assholes constantly shoving cameras in her face. She's not going there looking to be up in everybody's camera.
No, she's just being a supporter. She's being
It's
a
like,
supporter.
if you
So,
look at it logically, the people you should be pissed at if it disturbs you that much is the goddamn paparazzi.
yeah.
All girl wanted to do was go to a football game and root on her boyfriend. Completely normal behavior. You see it at literally every high school in the United States.
Yeah.
It's like the fact that her very presence there disturbs these so called alpha males so damn much. The football is ruined. Alpha male my ass.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Like, girl is there to watch a football game.
Yeah.
Blame it the media
Rooting
that
on her boyfriend. Jesus Christ.
blame the media culture that has made everyone feel more entitled to be inserting themselves into the lives of their favorite celebrities way beyond it's it's obnoxious and it's disturbing that we are so up in everybody's business and people act like they're entitled to it.
Yeah.
Like I was able to get through to a few handful of AH stands that unlike there were quite a few that felt the need to be 6 inches up. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've never been that person, and I think quite frankly since it's all over, especially now, his privacy, what he does, is not our goddamn business unless it involves work. Maybe it's just me.
This sounds ridiculous.
Because, yeah, what am I most interested in? Well, there's a documentary coming out on the Hollywood vampires. I know he's involved with at least two other documentaries. He's got movies coming out. These are the things I'm interested in.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for Dune 2 to come out in the movie theater. Haven't.
I'll be honest, I haven't been excited about really anything coming out of the theater for quite some time because every time I turn around, they want to do a remake of something. It's obnoxious.
Well, the first Dune movie was really good, so but I didn't get to see that in the movie theater. I saw that on Netflix.
But you know what I there's been nothing new for decades, and I don't even think the general public has noticed.
Well, the reboot of Dune was good, so I can't
Oh wait,
complain.
I can take that back. I am kind of chomping at the bit to see Deadpool 3.
Deadpool. Oh
Deadpool
my
3,
gosh.
yes. I've
Hmm.
been a Deadpool fan since the 90s when those comics first started coming out.
Hmm.
And they got traditional Wolverine, and I'm talking the yellow suited one that we kids know from the 90s and those cartoons back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I want to see.
I saw, was it Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness or whatever it was called? I saw that just
Brilliant
recently
movie.
on TV. On
And the
TV, I
critics
saw
hated
it.
it, but the actual fans,
Loved it.
absolutely.
Hmm. And,
Absolutely.
and they had Doctor X in the appropriate wheelchair for Christ's sake.
That's Sam Raimi for you, though.
Yeah, they had him in the appropriate chair, not this stupid little electric wheelchair that they had in the first movie and the other movies.
The
And
chair
then,
we all know from the comics.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So I am watching very closely what Marvel's doing because I'm a Marvel nerd. It have been since I was about 10 years old or so. And yeah, I'm still mad that they decided we're going to do Kang when Galactus was right there, and it could have been immediately gone into that arc right after the Eternals came out.
hmm,
In fact, that's where I thought it was going. A
yeah,
lot of us did.
yeah.
Like, why even introduce the Eternals in this soon
If you're not
if
gonna go that direction.
if you're going to use a completely unrelated villain? I'm not hating on Kang. I'm just saying, why would you bring the Eternals in that early when they have fuck all to do with the Kang storyline?
Hmm.
That didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. Mm.
But anyways, a lot of people have heard me sit there and complain about how I thought they could have gone with Galactus and screwed it all up.
Hmm.
I think my mom's tired of listening to it at this point. She's like, I don't know as much more about Marvel as you do. You and your brother need to leave me alone.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and to close out on the last 2 minutes, speaking of local, I told you last year when at Silver Dollar City, our local theme park, that they were closing Fire in the Hole, right? I even went over that whole urban legend that
Yeah.
is actually true. So, just as my mom predicted, and there will be no living with her now, they have opened coming this spring a much larger Fire in the Hole. It's going to be inside a building instead of the old cave where it's always been previously.
Hmm.
So, and they've been giving glimpses and peeks on their Instagram and on their X account regards to the new ride, but they're not letting out a whole lot of secrets. So, I want to see how much they kept from the old ride. I've heard all the voiceovers are going to be the same. So, I'll get to hear Cletus, come back in the house and put your pants back on. That's an old. So that's going to be opening up this March. So, yes, I've already been chomping at the bit. I want to go. I want to go. I got to see that ride. It's mandatory because I rode the old ride. First time I was on that underground roller coaster, the original Fire in the Hole, I was like 3 years old. So, yeah, I got to see the new one. It's a legacy ride for those of us who live around here. So, some happy news along the way. All right, and folks, we're an hour in.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and close out for this one. Thank you, Merrick, for coming on and for all of you putting up with my ranting. Thank you, Chairman.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to put a link to your Discord in the chat, please do so. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you the week after this. Bye bye, everyone.